Greetings, Oitlins. This is Friends of the Gerund. My name is not Hobie Cheese Finder. Click the CC logo beneath the screen if you want to read the words as I say them. Today's lesson, we've taken 5 words from Ezra Pound's wonderful poem, The Seafarer. I think you'll have fun listening to the explanation of these words. These are taken from the real dictionary, not your Google dictionary or Merriam-Webster. Those are the slacker dictionaries. Those are the idiot dictionaries. These are from the real dictionary. etymonline.com. Now the first word from that poem is reckon. Reckon is an English word, unlike many of the words that we find in English literature, so-called. Reckon means set in array, to set things into an array, into order, put them in order. So people started to think when they wanted to count something, they didn't have a word for count because that's not English. So they'd use the word reckon when they wanted to count something. And from that, it came to be thought of as meaning whenever you do arithmetic, you're reckoning, or if you calculate. Should have thought of that before we started. Anyhow, folks, that's the word reckon. You find it in Ezra Pound's poem. Ezra Pound, who is the most influential, dominant, and top intellect and writer of the 20th century, undisputably. Now, the next word in that poem, wonderful poem, is jargon. Jargon is a metaphor. The way it's used, the way it's been used lately, has been as a metaphor. The real meaning from the real dictionary is the chattering of birds. Now, this is not an English word. It was taken from French and it began in Latin. It means the chattering of birds. So, in old-time thinking, birds understand one another, but people don't understand the birds. They just thought that the birds knew what they were saying to each other, but they couldn't tell. So by comparing this to workmen or craftsmen who have their own words that we don't understand, or if we're a craftsman, we have words that people that are not in the same craft, they don't understand those words. That's a comparison to when we speak, or when the craftsman speaks those words, it's compared to the birds talking in bird talk, bird speech. So it's a comparison. It doesn't really mean the words of the craftsman. It means the words of the birds. But it's compared, so it's a metaphor, it's a comparison. But it doesn't mean it. It just remember the difference. What does it matter? If it doesn't matter to you, you probably don't belong in this brotherhood. So you don't have the brain power, or else maybe not the experience in reading and thinking. Maybe you have the brain power. I can't say. I'm not even going to speculate on that, and that's not what this video is about. You had the question, and I felt obligated to give it an answer. So, Next word is oft. O-F-T. It's the same as the word often. It's the word often is just the word oft with an extra syllable tacked onto it. It's a meaningless syllable, and it's kind of useless, but folks have for some reason say often, more often, they say oft. And it is English. That is an English word. Now the next word in Ezra Pound's wonderful poem, The Seafarer, is abided, which is English, but it's wrong English. So Ezra was not all that good at English. He was good at something. He was influential, and he got people to four of his proteges won the Nobel Prize for Literature only because of his help. They were all duffers before he got a hold of them. Anyhow, it's wrong English, and Ezra Pound uses it in the poem, but I'll tell you what the right conjugation is abide, abode, abidden. So he used the past perfect tense, so he should have used abidden, but it doesn't fit in with the poem sonically or rhythmically. The actual word is bide without the in front of it, so the is just an extra syllable, kind of like with off and often. And the real meaning of the word is await, means wait for. So to await means to wait for. You wait. If you're waiting, it doesn't say you're waiting for something if you just say waiting. But if you say await, it means waiting for something. So you're waiting for the UPS man, which is a strange thing to name a company. I think the namers of it were making a joke when they called it Oops. Oops. Well, anyhow, so oft, what the heck? Oh, abide. Sorry. Is the word bide. Bide, bode, bidden. It means wait for. So if someone stays by their guns, as you call it, that's a metaphor also. So, or literally sometimes, if they stay on their position and they don't change, then they're considered as staying settled, and they're being unshaken by a challenge. And so that's a kind of waiting that's also understood by the word abide, oft. So the word dire is the last one on our list today. Now don't start getting up and going to the fridge yet, or clicking off. You stay right here. Okay. So dire is not English, and the etymologists and lexicographers, they haven't agreed on where it came from, but it didn't come from English. So we don't know what speech began it. It comes from a word for fear. So it doesn't mean fear, because fear is a noun and dire is an adjective word. It means fearsome. It does not mean fearful, because fearsome means something that causes fear outside of itself, and fearful means something that fears, something that's afraid, someone, some conscious being that's afraid is fearful. But whatever causes a conscious being to feel fearfully is fearsome. Fearsome. I'm saying fearsome. You don't say it that way. I'm just emphasizing the second syllable to bring it out. But it's fearsome, fearful, fearsome. Oh, Lord. You guys, I mean, you just have not been educated very well. I'm sorry, but you're smart to be listening to this education. Now, I didn't bring my other hat, but I'm going to use the narrator voice for the rest of this. It's the tail end of it, I guess you call it. Be sure to subscribe to learn more ways of the Brotherhood. Friends of the Gerund, also known as Frog, is an underling of the true university. Hey, lovers of goodness, are you Can we start that one over again, please? Please. Are you Team Truman Kesey or Team Intruder? Do you want to make social barriers? Then follow the links in the description below, featuring the ways to fulfill your favorite goals and aspirations. Huh? Good. Listen page. It also shows you a way that you can obtain your own copy of the standards of the Friends of the Gerund. Now, when you know the standards of the Friends of the Gerund, you might hear them being spoken in a public, and you might be able to make a new friend, a new contact, by going up to them and saying, I heard you say blah, 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 blah. That's not what they really said. That's like a space where you fill in what they said in your imagination. They didn't say blah, 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 or whatever it was they said. And you come up to them and you say, hey, did you just say blah, 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 blah? And they'll say, I sure did. And you can say, are you a friend of the Gerund? And they say, you betcha I am. And then you can have a new friend. And you might even be able to join the Brotherhood and obtain any future benefits that may accrue by the massive membership that we expect to flood into our ranks. Ta-ta.